Hello and welcome. Silrace here with a build showcase. Build on your screen right there. Pause the video if you wish to copy the exact main components, also listed in the description below. Cataphract 4X. Note at the time of recording I have finished mastering the Cataphract 4X pilot skill wise, so if you don't yet have your basic and elite and possibly the master pilot skills unlocked, you will see a less of a performance from this particular build. Also, know that no modules whatsoever were in use, so if you have the modules to go with this build, then you will see a performance increase obviously. Another thing to know that I decided to spice this up a little bit, because usually when I do my build showcase, I play multiple games with the same mech, and then I pick my average games. Here I decided to take my two worst games of the play session and put those in this video.
New target acquired.
Why? Because I can, to spice things up, but also to give you a very small baseline. Do better than I did in these videos if you play this build. Do better than I did. Alright? Anyway. Cataphracts are an ancient workhorse of a mech by now. They have been in the game for a long time, and you could easily make arguments that they are essentially outclassed entirely by mechs which came afterwards. Especially this particular variant, the Cataphract 4X. This is a ballistic variant of a Cataphract, gets 4 ballistic hardpoints in the arms, 2 energy hardpoints in the center torso, and a missile hardpoint in the head. Head-mounted missile hardpoints are always hard to use, really well, and also center torso mounted energy hardpoints kind of restrict the energy weaponry you're mounting there anyway. So, lots of ballistic weapons. I have an AC5 and AC2 in each arm, and this is a turret build. Another big issue you could argue, definitely argue, for the Cataphract 4X is the engine cap. 255 is the max rated engine you can fit on the 4X. I have an XL255 with all of these ballistic weapons here. It's sort of a turret and you can't really ever go fast with this mech. So hang about with your team like this, shoot whatever they are shooting at, whatever pokes their head out, and don't be afraid of taking the occasional shot, so you are trying to share your armor a little bit. But this build does require a prolonged engagement with the enemy, hopefully without somebody shooting back at you so you don't get blown up. To really do its work, you require an enemy to show itself for a long time so you can keep pouring fire into it, to keep dealing damage, and then, you know, actually come up with big damage numbers. That is what this particular build requires, and there are ways to get it going. Another thing to note is that the arms are really low mounted on the Cataphract, and so hill poking with this build is not very feasible. So you might want to hang around in open terrain like this, where you hopefully don't have hills blocking your line of fire. Now, Cataphract 4X to me has always been a fun mech. I play it just for personal amusement. I don't care that it's not the best mech out there, because look at the bottom right corner of the screen, you can see that gun barrel popping, bouncing up and down. Well, obviously not now while I've zoomed in, but here, there you go. That is the sort of little details which are kind of amusing to watch happen and so forth. And now, as I have pointed it out, you're probably gonna get distracted by it for the rest of this video, but hey, them's the breaks. It doesn't bother me, but I can understand that it might bother somebody else who's like, oh my gosh, this thing's still again on my screen, and so on. So yeah, team is just hanging back here. Actually, that's okay for a build like this, for a long-range build like this, but this is the issue. I'm not taking the shot because the hill is in my way. Bullets will be hitting the hillside. No reason to waste ammo. Because, well, do have those 2 medium lasers for backup, but still main guns on this thing are the ballistic weapons. And when your team starts going somewhere, you want to go with them, with a turret build like this. But you have to be a little bit careful of where you walk and which way you walk, because of the speed issues. The slower you are, the slower your mech is, the more deliberate you have to be with your movement. The more conscious you have to be of where you are going, because otherwise you might completely get separated from your team by simply, you know, your own mistake of not going where your team is, not predicting where they are going. And I don't want to be caught up against light mechs. This is not a build which wants to duel other light mechs at all. It's a heavy mech with ballistics, and ballistics which require long, engagements, and has a long range engagement potential. Granted, those weapons work the same at shorter ranges, but from longer ranges you can hopefully keep the brawlers at bay, and so forth. Now, just looking at things, and here we go. Here we go, and don't be afraid of using those medium lasers when things get to the point where, you are in range of those medium lasers. This build, especially once you're finished with the basic and elite pilot skills, this build is really heat efficient. As you can see, there is basically no way this thing is going to overheat. You can shoot those AC2s and AC5s for a long time before you have to worry about any heat issues, which can make this build very fun to play if you get the right kind of engagement where you can just pour fire into the enemies and, just watch them overheating while they're trying to shoot you or shoot your teammate, and you just get to shoot overheating enemies. It's brilliant when that happens. Now, I am separated from my team here, and I really need to catch up with them. I was just, kind of watching the rear there for a bit, but frankly I am way too far separated from the team. So catch up, meet with the team, and there we go. Light mech chasing me down. Alright. Just make sure you don't die to the light mech. That's fine. Okay, let's take on the light mech. We're leading on the kills quite well. That's okay. Light mech is getting trashed by teammates as well, and there we go. Tried a little too hard to get me. That's what you get. And somebody who stands still, absolutely fire at it all day long. Just shoot at it. I mean, if it's standing still, that's all you do. You just fire at it. And there we go. There is the overhit. That's what I was talking about. And also there is the low-hanging arms coming to play, right? There is the overheating mech which just wants to be shot at by ballistic weaponry all over the place. And all the time. Now, ballistics do scare people away. It doesn't matter how much damage they do scare people away for some odd reason. I have never quite figured that out myself, but it happens. It does happen. And one final mech to kill, some sort of a, shadow cat just running around there. And so on. My team is going somewhere. I don't know where, because I just, announced in chat. That's where it is. Where are you folks going? And I can't kind of, hang around alone, try to take it on, because I know for a fact I can't take it on alone. So, yeah, kind of interested in this kind of stuff always. It's like, wait, where is everybody going now? Okay, now they are heading in the correct direction. Let's go find the final mech and clean that up, and see you folks in the second game of this particular build showcase.
Target acquired.
moving on from Polar Highlands to the Crimson Strait. Crimson Strait usually facilitates a little bit more of a closer range fight. There are lots of nooks and crannies people can go into to get out of your line of fire. However, the low-hanging arms typically aren't such a big problem when you're fighting on Crimson Strait, so that is a positive for the Cataphract 4X on this particular map. So basically catch up with the team, run around with the team, and never ever go off alone, because this build can't really do anything alone. Let's just put it that way. There are very few mechs that you can duel to death, even though you don't overheat almost ever. But the problem is that while you have the sustained damage to go with it, you don't really have the burst potential to really just cripple something by shooting at it once or twice. So run around with the team, and that is the plan, that is what we're doing. If team is going this way, we're going this way. Of course you can try to get the team to go somewhere else, but sometimes that just doesn't happen. So you're better off working as a fire support for your front line. And if needed, just go into the front line and be the target. Because sometimes that is required, and then it doesn't matter which mech you are on, you just have to do it. Now up here is kind of good location. Things tend to poke around from there, so you can, you know, shoot. And as mentioned in the previous play already, the slower you are, the more deliberate you need to be with your movement, right? So folks actually realize that there is a UAV. I would prefer not wasting ammo shooting it down, so thank you for using lasers to get it down. There's one reason to stay up here for a bit, because it also allows going through the tunnel or reacting for an entire enemy push up over the saddle, that sort of thing. And somebody poking a few lasers at you is not that big of a deal, right? Right, hello. Would you like some ballistic fire in your way there? Now I have a very nice front line spotting mechs for me. Enemies who come over the ridge line to shoot at those friendlies down there, well, they get some firepower poured into them. This is sort of a turret build, or rather, this is the turret build, and this is the kind of optimal placing for a turret. Open line of fire, multiple angles, just shoot at things. Everything which pokes its head out, make it regret poking its head out. Make it think that you are shooting at it with something bigger than AC2s and stuff, so that it actually runs away, right?
New target acquired.
There we go, there we go. And waiting. Be patient in, well, let's say, damage over time builds like this. Patience is key. Patience is very much a key. Because you want those firing options when they appear. You don't want to run like a lunatic and then, you know, not be in place to actually take part in the fire, in the battle when it happens. Because this mech is slow, as mentioned, you do need to be deliberate with your movement. Alright, there we go. There are the enemies coming from that direction. Like that. There we go. Let's support teammates, because that is also good. And also Griffin is kind of scary to go against alone. Oh, well, there was another teammate, but, well, most of the team is here. And unfortunately, this is the way we go then. Kind of make the choice of like, do I back up the teammate who is already down there kind of alone? Or do I help mop up the enemy team here, which would hopefully lead there to be only 1 or 2 enemy mechs alive after. and then just clean up the rest with a decisive, you know, mech lead, which already exists for our team. A decisive mech lead, 6-1 at this point, and I have done barely nothing in this game. Could have pushed more aggressively, could have done things like that, sure. But sometimes you don't know whether you're supposed to, and whether that is actually a worse thing to do or better thing to do. Now there is lots of stuff up there where I used to be, and I'm kind of glad I came down here. I can pour fire into a project free. Look at that. Free shooting gallery. They are all chasing somebody else. Well, that lets me just shoot, right? That is exactly what this build wants. Free shooting gallery like that. But the game is basically done. 10-1 right here, and it is over. Thank you very much for watching. Try this build out. Do better than I did.